Here's 8 things new players must know in Wuthering Waves. First is that you can buy resources from vendors in the map. For example, you have the souvenir store where you can buy a bunch of materials for leveling up echoes, XP for weapons, XP for your characters, shell credits, which is used for everything in this game, a bunch of other important resources to build your characters, and a lot of food recipes, and even standard banner pulls. Now, to buy anything from this, you of course have to explore the world, open chests to get these texture shards, at least for this shop. But there are other shops. For example, if we go down here, we have this pharmacy where you're able to buy a bunch of flowers and plants that are needed to ascend your characters. Of course, there's other stuff in here that helps synthesizing for, health and stuff. But most importantly, the flowers and plants are here to help you upgrade your characters, and this resets weekly as well. Over here at the weapon crafting station, so if we just go over here, talk to Uncle Wei, of course he has a bunch of materials here which is used for leveling up weapons and a bunch of other stuff, very important stuff. So before you use your daily energy on farming for these resources, or before you go to the store and buy them from the item exchange here, which there is usually stuff here, but the game's about to go into reset and update for the next version, so you don't see anything here. But there is a bunch of resources here that you can buy. Of course, shell credits is here. Before you do that, before you use your energy to farm up those resources, just remember you can actually come to these vendors and buy more resources basically for free, essentially. Well, not free since you still have to buy them, but you don't have to use your energy or anything. The next thing new players must know is that exploring the world is really worth it. Despite what you are seeing in my progress, 46%, 51%, contrary to my progress, it's important because you get really good rewards. If you come to Mackie here in the city, you can see all these exploration objectives and all your progress, right? And of course it rewards you with these points, and that goes into this reward system here. You at least want to get up to level 3 because you unlock some really good gadgets. So firstly, you have the loot mapper, which helps you see chests that you may have missed, stuff like that. I actually have one right now in this area, and it's showing a bunch of chests that I have not received or went to get. Then of course you have the waypoint module, or the waypoint. This allows you to place a teleport waypoint wherever you want. Super useful. And just like how the loot mapper locates chests, the casket sonar locates these things called Sonance caskets, and they're very important for other rewards and upgrades that I'll show you here in a few. But up to level 3 you can get all these good gadgets, super useful around exploring. And then not only that, you of course get a bunch of other resources and Astrite, which is super awesome to have. Now going back to Sonance caskets, if you come to Chenpi, who is also in the city, redeeming the Sonance caskets at this vendor will reward you a bunch of stuff like Astrite, Lustrous Tide, which is for the standard banner, other resources, and most importantly, this mysterious code thing. This is used to upgrade your rover, which is the main character. The reason why that's important is because the main character in this game, Rover, is actually a really good character. Not only is exploring really good and very helpful, but going around collecting the Sonance caskets while exploring. There's these cubes floating in the air. Grab them, and the more you get, you can put in this guy and get some good shit. You get some copies for Rover as well, which helps do more stuff, do more damage. Super good. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Astrite on the standard banner. Don't waste your Astrite on the standard banner because, in fact, for new players especially, when you start the game, the devs give out a lot of free pulls for you to be able to actually get a character off the beginner banner, which is like the standard banner, but it guarantees you one of the characters on here. And not only that, they also give you a voucher to select whichever character you want. So at that point, you don't really want to waste your Astrite anymore on these characters. Sure, there's a couple of them that are really good, but if you use your voucher wisely and maybe you get lucky on the beginner banner, you don't need to go any further. You should probably save your Astrite for limited characters like the current ones you see now. They're all very good and they're very worth it. It's better to save for these limited ones than not. Okay, you get plenty of standard pulls as well throughout other rewards and events and whatnot. You know, at that point, you just using your precious Astrite on a standard banner isn't worth it. While we're on the topic of banners and gacha, let's talk about the Coral Shop. All right, this is the item exchange. You can press the shop button in the banner and it'll take you here. And you see these two things called Afterglow Coral and Oscillated Coral. So Afterglow Coral you get from getting 4-star characters, 4-star weapons, 5-star characters. You know, you get the idea. And it's important currency because you can spend it on a variety of things. Okay, you'll see you can spend it on echo tuning materials, which don't do that. You can buy 4-star characters that you may want or need, copies of them. You can also buy copies of a 5-star standard character or a limited character. Okay, pretty huge. The only point I'm trying to make and on this section is to use it wisely because I personally use them a lot on these pulls, right? These Radiant Tides, which is used on limited banners. But a lot of people will tell you to save them for, you know, a possibility of getting a copy, you know, of a 5-star character or getting a 4-star character that you don't have. My only argument is that I don't want copies of characters. I want to try getting new characters, so buying these pulls will help me do so. Once again, use this wisely. Do not use them. Don't use them on these standard pulls, all right? The Lustrous Tides. These are the greenish blue ones. Don't use your Afterglow on this or this, okay? Getting copies is fine, and getting these two is fine. Just use it wisely. Let's move on to Oscillated Coral. Here, you see there's daily, or not daily, I wish it was daily, monthly pulls here. So basically, you can get 7 of each kind, right? Forging Tide, which is the weapon pulls, and then the standard pulls. You don't see it here, but you can get the Radiant Tides, which is the limited pulls. I already bought them. It's important to, you know, make sure you're not too broke on Oscillated Coral, which you get just by pulling anything in general. These can cost a lot when you buy them all together, right? So it's important to, you know, save up, not spend too much on the other stuff here. But if you do have a lot, it can be argued to buy a few things from here that you need. I've done it a few times and I'm still fine. But always prioritize these pulls rather than anything else here. So save these up and you'll be fine. Now let's talk about echo progression. This is the gear system of the game. And when you start out, you're not going to have all these 5-star echoes like you see here. You're going to have lower tier ones, lower rating ones, and you're going to have to grind them up. Yes, grind them up. How you do this is by collecting echoes, right? If you go here in the data bank, you'll start off at level 0, of course. The more echoes you get, the more enhanced drop you get and the better rarity you get. So you keep collecting, and soon the rarity will change, which adds more points and XP to this data bank, which then adds more rarity and drop rate. And, you know, it goes up and up and up and up. So it's important to grab echoes whenever you see them. When you kill enemies, they'll drop a hologram, collect it. Echoes make your character. They do. They make your characters good. And if you really needed to as well, you can do tacit fields. Now, it's not ideal, I would say, to blow all your energy on the tacit fields. It'll probably be more worth going for bosses to get your characters upgraded and, you know, other things. But these can help get echoes that you don't have when you need them. So if you need to do a few, do a few. It's no big deal. It's important to get your echoes and actually grind for them, or else your characters are just going to be shit. The next thing players must know is their wave plates, okay, and how you should probably use them, at least in the beginning, because as you see, there's this overflow thing where you don't log in, and, you know, it goes up to 480 if you don't, you know, haven't logged in yet. That doesn't matter for a player like me, because I don't really need to do much, so of course I'm not going to log in every day and use my wave plates. But for a new player, it's important to use your wave plates as much as you can. A lot of the times, especially in the early days, I like to use them on bosses because bosses drop a good load of XP. But not only that, they also drop important materials and resources for your character's growth, right? So of course, doing that would be fine. Another thing you want to make sure of is to be careful of using your crystal solvents. This helps you refresh your wave plates. You will get a buttload. So using them here and there is completely fine if you want to get extra XP and push to that next level. That's completely fine. I've done it many times. But there are times where you want to save these because say a new character comes out, but you're going to need some wave plates to grind up all her resources and things needed to make her good and all leveled up, right? So having these crystal solvents will be especially useful to refresh your wave plates and be able to go grind and farm for that stuff that's needed. Now, the last thing that players must know is about events. And events don't last forever. They don't. So my advice is to do them. Don't procrastinate on them and then forget about them and then they're gone, because not all of them stay here. Of course, there will be rare ones like the Somnian Labyrinth that will stay, that are permanent. So it doesn't matter if you miss it or not. But a lot of events, especially this one, Pincer Maneuver Warriors, only last for a set time. So 21 days, 10 hours. You need to do these to get the rewards out of them. Don't forget them. They don't last forever. Pay attention to these timers and don't lose out on many rewards. Okay, those are 8 things new players must know. There are probably more that you guys should know, but I haven't thought about anymore because I'm stupid. But if these do help you guys, then I'm glad. If you have anything you want to say to the new players that they should know or something, go ahead and put them down in the comments. It'll be valuable info for them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this video helped. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.